Sometimes we make it complicated. Sometimes we get so disconnected to the very simple truth of who Jesus is.
I grew up in a family where my dad was a music minister and my mom was his right-hand girl, and all 5 of us sang. We sang together as a family.
I love the Lord from a very young age, and my dad is a music minister, so we kind of grew up in the church. I can remember taking naps on pews growing up, but like most people who grow up in the church, I think it takes them sometimes a little while to truly take what their parents have said and turn it into their own faith. So as I got older and kind of grew in the Lord, it started to become more of a relationship between me and God instead of just a relationship between my parents and I and what they have told me about God.
My pastor really, the pastor that I grew up under was a huge influence in my life. He spoke directly from the Word of God, and just a very loving and giving person, and he was very close to our family. And he's still, even though I haven't lived there for the last 9 years, like, he is still an active part of my life. So I'm very thankful for his leadership and his guidance and counsel in my life and my family's life. For the longest time, I didn't realize it, but I was just going through the motions like everybody else. I did things because I was told to do things, not because I believed anything really about them. And the older that I got, the more I started to learn that God not only desires for us to do the right thing, but also the reasoning for doing the right thing is because we love Him and know Him. And so learning to build a relationship with God has been the biggest blessing. That's really what has caused me to grow the most.
One of my favorite things to do when I'm at home in Nashville is to help lead worship with my worship leaders at church. I love that. I love being a part of a body of believers, a family, a spiritual family, and coming together and loving on each other in the Lord for the glory of the kingdom. Man, there's nothing that compares to that. And I also love when we travel and we get to share our story and others get to share their stories with us. And there is this communion and this connection that is so divine that you can't explain it, and it doesn't quite make sense, but it's beautiful. And I wouldn't trade it for the world.
We're all really involved in our churches. We love our Nashville family. We love being there. We love pouring into their lives, and they pour into ours.
He is the maker of the universe, the very breath of God in us. It can't contain the priceless gift that we hold every day.
Our music evolves as we evolve as people. I think that as we grow closer to the Lord and understanding of who He is and His role in our lives, the way that we express the lyrics, even the lyrics that we've written, the way that we express them begins to change, and it begins to turn into something different. Each night, what we give will affect me in a different way. So say there's one song that speaks directly to my struggle. I just sit here and I'm like, Lord, you knew that we needed to write that song, if for nothing else, for my heart right now to be encouraged to love you more.
The number one thing that keeps me motivated and grounded is constant daily prayer and constantly daily being in the Word. If you don't have your heart where it's supposed to be, constantly giving and ministering to other people, it's gonna take a toll. And I think people can read you a lot more than you think that they can. So if your heart's not in the right place, they're not going to be able to see God through you. So that's the biggest thing for me. I think motivation also comes from a desire to use what God has given me and to really do it the best that I possibly can. Perfection is never going to be reached, but understanding that God has given each of us, every single one of us, a gift, learning what that is, and then learning how to hone and try to do the best with that you can. It's a huge motivator to keep going.
You know, I think spiritual growth comes from the basis of a commitment with Jesus Christ, a commitment to your relationship with Jesus Christ. And then it stems from there. If you are committed to following Jesus and learning about him, then it spins into prayer and having prayer time, and that growing spiritually for you. And it spins into relationships with other people and loving other people the way that Christ loves us. And it stems into, you know, being committed to going to church and being committed to being in small groups and things like that. So there's a whole realm of spiritual growth. You know, you can never stop learning.
Oh, Jesus, glorious Messiah, wonderful to hold.